Now, the ruling BJP's hyper-nationalist desire for uniformity too often rides roughshod over the federalism that keeps our diverse country united. The Prime Minister speaks of cooperative federalism, but it seems only one side is expected to cooperate while the union government operates at its own sweet will. The government's decision in 2017 to change the terms of reference of the 15th Finance Commission to base allocations on the 2011 census rather than the 1971 census had already prized open a north-south divide, opening a Pandora's box with incalculable consequences for our country. The Finance Commission's revised allocations have sent even more tax money from the south to the north than previously. As I guess he should be here already, Mr. Neelakantan, are you here? Hi, nice to meet you. I've read his excellent book, North versus South, and as he says that in that book, and I'm quoting his words, India rewards the brute demographic advantage of North India over a state's performance. Now, Neelakantan pointed out that the 15th Finance Commission was really in some ways a rebuke of success because the future of our union could itself be threatened by the decisions of the Finance Commission. The bind that Tamil Nadu and Kerala in particular find themselves in is they're at a stage where their success is being used against them by the union government. And that's the government is seeking rather aggressively to redistribute resources based essentially on demography, on brute demographic might. Those states, and this is again an insight that he has documented and statistically supported, these states made improvements to health to find that the reward for that is to have less money for health, to spend on health, that their improvements in education meant they'd have less money to spend on education. Now, the reason is, of course, that previous finance commissions had based themselves on population figures from the 71 census, and that may seem odd to many outsiders, since we've had 4 censuses since 1971, and new numbers have been available to successive finance commissions. But the reason for this was indeed very simple, and it was made explicit in relation to an even more vital issue, that of political representation in our parliament. In 1976, the Omnibus 42nd Amendment to the Constitution decided to freeze the allocation of Lok Sabha seats to our states for 25 years to encourage population control by assuring states that their success in limiting their populations would not lose them Lok Sabha seats. In 2001, the NDA government of Prime Minister Vajpayee extended this arrangement for another 25 years. Its proposal, which became the 91st Amendment, was unanimously adopted by all parties in both houses of Parliament. Now, the thinking behind both Indira Gandhi's and Vajpayee's policies here was very clear. It was based on the sound principle that the reward for responsible stewardship by a state of demography and human development could not be political disenfranchisement. While there is some logic to the argument that in a democracy you must value all your citizens equally, whether they live in a progressive state or in one that by failing to empower its women and reducing total fertility has allowed its population to shoot through the roof. But at the same time, no federal democracy can survive the perception that states would lose their political clout if they develop well, while others would gain more seats into parliament as a reward for their failure. Now, this is the carefully balanced arrangement that the Modi government carelessly caused to be undone by instructing the Finance Commission to use the 2011 census figures instead of the 1971 figures. The 16th Finance Commission will be worse. And if the next census takes place soon after the 2024 elections, as the Home Minister has indicated, it will be worse still for the South, since population disparities have only worsened since 2011. What would prevent them, for instance, from passing a law deciding that Hindi will be the Rashtra Bhasha, the national language, which every year some BJP MP stands up and proposes? Now, the tyranny of population numbers is actually going to make things worse for a while yet. If you take demographic patterns, for example, while northern states like Bihar, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Uttar Pradesh had a decadal population growth rate of over 20% between 2001 and 2011. That is, imagine they grew by over 20% in those 10 years, so over 2% on average. Southern states like undivided Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu grew at less than 16% in exactly that same period. Kerala already had the country's lowest growth rate, which was 4.9% over the entire decade. That is 0.49% on average a year. And now the government's answer would be, though they've not really engaged in this debate seriously yet, their answer would be that those are the rules of democracy. One person, one vote, one value means that the more people you have, the more political clout and tax rupees you get. In a country where regional, religious, and linguistic tensions are never far from the surface, such an answer, that we have more people, so we'll have more money and more power, that risks rupturing the fragile bonds that hold us all together.